friends, this is Thaddeus from Going Nerdy, and I was skimming through Reddit today, and one of the things that I saw really caught my attention, and it made me kind of do a double take, and the post itself said CG and Capital Games have dropped to have a 4.7 overall rating on the mobile stores, right? And I double checked that. Currently on the Android store, which I play, is a 4.2 rating. Now that could be simply a drop or a change over the course of a couple of days, which is very possible, which is also very profound if that is the case, to see that drop from a 4.7 to a 4.2 when millions of people would have to have had logged on to really adjust their score to make that kind of impact. Also, the original poster says, since Jedi Knight Revan was introduced into the game, there have been few good things that have added. And they go through, you can sim the Rancor raid, guaranteed Zeta on fleet and Zeta challenges, relics, which, you know, he says could be a good, could be a bad thing, the journey guide, the anniversary rewards, the crewless ships, and May the 4th rewards. All have been great. All have been really cool to see added to the game. Now, here are some things that have gone wrong or gotten worse since the release of Jedi Knight Revan. According to this poster, at least, the paywall and the first of the worst mirror matches, right? The Jedi Knight Revan mirror match was frustrating for a lot of people. This doesn't really bother me. Like, I've been playing it. Now, granted, I've been playing it since Relics, and a lot of stuff has kind of like equaled out in my mind, but I will say that the paywall seems to have gotten worse. It was one thing when, you know, hey, there's a new marquee character coming in, it's going to be $20 and then $200 to completely unlock them. That's frustrating, that is, and it bugs the crap out of me. But at the same time, compare that to, okay, now let's throw on top of those marquees. Let's farm them all, bring them all to not only 7-star, but relic 4, 3, or 5, or 7. Then on top of that, let's relic other characters that aren't necessarily amazing, i.e., you know, Old Man Han.
Where are you?
Right? And that paywall has really been frustrating. And for someone who is an aggressive minnow, a very small dolphin, right? Depending on what your numbers look like, I don't spend very much in this game, but a lot of people are very frustrated with it. If you look down this list, it's Jedi Knight Revan paywall, Darth Revan paywall, Darth Malak paywall, Gas paywall. There's a lot of paywall, and we're not seeing a lot of other content to use those characters. Now, that is something they said they are working on. Again, one of the things that is absolutely fascinating, CG is struggling to find people. If you jump over to Indeed, type in Capital Games, type in Sacramento, you actually see a number of different pretty big positions open for Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, or at least for EA Games. So senior product manager, senior art lead, senior quality assurance 1-year contract, motion designer, video editor. There's a lot of stuff. Now, we do know that specifically Capital Games is working on another game, character, another game, and these jobs are jobs that have been, for the most part, posted a long time ago. Very few of them, with the exception of a couple, are jobs that are relatively new. And so it seems that EA is struggling to not only keep their people, but to bring on new people who are exceptional. Now, that is something that's going to be a very challenging thing for them, especially considering that there's not getting a lot of people. They're not making a lot of people happy, right? Now, there are some of us who just are addicted and will continue to play the game forever, right? And until it tanks. And that's unfortunate, right? Because I want to be able to play something that I absolutely enjoy. But additionally, there are other issues with this game. You have these moments of freezing, right? The game freezes. The game's like server cannot be found, or you've lost connection, and all this other stuff. And those are just aspects of the game. This isn't like the fact that they don't communicate super well, the fact that there's a whole negotiating with terrorists kind of thing. And I say terrorist when I mean cheaters. There's a lot of issues. Now, I've got to say, and I want to end on kind of a positive note here. I try to be an optimist. I absolutely do. It can be hard in some areas of life. It can be hard in some areas of this game, and some areas of whatever. But I do believe and I do hope that they are working on this. Now, the reason I say that is because as much time as I've spent playing this game, as little time as I spent there at Capital Games. Now, I wasn't one of the game changers who went out more than once. I just went once, and it was a lot of fun. It really was. I talk about that a lot, and one of the things that I've noticed is that there are people who work there, or at least there were when I was there, and I still believe that there's people that work there now who love this game. Not just because it's a game that they're putting their name to, not just because it's something like, oh, this is fun and it's something I get to do and I get paid for. There are legitimate people who are absolutely in love with this game, who work at Capital Games, who love it because it's Star Wars. And the one thing that I think, no matter what you say about whether or not these people like the game, whether or not they're doing their best, whatever, they are Star Wars fans, right? And I would have to say that these are people that want to do a good job for Star Wars. Now, are they doing their best? Probably not. Is that everyone's fault? No, of course it's not. This is not down to the people doing the day-to-day work. This is probably a higher up style thing. I don't necessarily know, but I do think that this new tool that they are working on has the ability to turn things around. That is my absolute hope, that this new tool that they are working to will allow them to create content better, faster, with fewer bugs. I don't spin my characters around as often as I think they think we do. I don't. I certainly don't. But there's not a ton for me to do. In my mind, I still think there's less for people who are not in-game players to do. Once you hit your dailies, you're done, right? And it's hard. I think, I hope, I pray that they are trying to create new stuff. That is my optimistic view, but really time will tell to see whether or not this game turns around. A lot can change. I, for one, will be keeping an eye on the, at least Android's rating for Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, the Android store rating for Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, because I want to see if it continues to drop. I want to see if people will make a change, people will voice their opinion. And if they do, what will CG do about it? Voice your opinion, guys, but voice your opinion. If you don't voice your opinion, you will never help make a change. So, that being said, guys, what do you think? Do you think that this is a continuation of bad choices by Capital Games? Do you think that it all started with Jedi Knight Revan, or do you think it started further back? I think a lot of this can be traced further back, that these are just bad practices that they've continued on. And I think a big change needs to be made. But what do you guys think? Like, subscribe, share, leave a comment in the section below. Check out the links in the section below for a free chance to get a free Audible book and from Audible, and you can check out all the Star Wars books. They're awesome. It is an amazing collection of Star Wars novels online currently. Also, check out the Going Nerdy swag store, and you can get 2 shirts, a What Would Hondo Do, or the Order 66 was an inside job. Let me know what you guys think. Like, subscribe, share. This has been Thaddeus from Going Nerdy, and as always, my friends, smile and stay nerdy.